Thank you for listening into our Ingram Micro podcast session on AI today. I'm Frederick Paulson, Business Development Manager with Ingram Micro, supporting HPE solutions. Today, we are diving into technology shaping tomorrow's enterprise, artificial intelligence. Not just the headlines, but how business are moving from pilot projects to secure, scalable, and value-driven deployments. The biggest hurdle for many companies is figuring out how to run mission-critical AI workloads while keeping their data private and under control. That's exactly what we're going to cover today. I'm thrilled to be joined by Ruben Melville, who covers hybrid solution for partners worldwide with HPE. Ruben, welcome to the podcast. We're excited to have you here.
Thank you very much, Fred. It's lovely to be here as well.
I'd like to start with talking about the big picture. Looking at the current landscape of enterprise technology, where do you see the greatest immediate opportunity for business leveraging AI? And furthermore, what are the most significant roadblocks partners and customers are faced with?
Very good question. And I would say so. AI brings a huge opportunity for our partners and our customers as well. But it's not just, Fred, at that customer level, because we need to think about it as a business and how it affects their portfolio as well, because that's where the real opportunity is. So we hear about things such as the opportunity of AI being valued in its trillions of dollars. And it seems to get bigger and bigger, this figure. You know, if you leave it a week and come back, it's got even bigger. So we know that there's lots of money to be made, lots of dollar value in AI. But we also hear about this thing around that only 1 in 10 projects actually make it to, a project status, to a live environment. So we've got all this money ready to go, but only 1 in 10 projects are making it. Why is that? And that's because customers need help on their AI journey. One of the challenges, for example, is that often customers just don't know, the size of the environment, Fred, that they need. And the fact that actually with AI, well, it's actually going to become bigger and bigger. The fact that customers don't actually know the size of the environment, that then kind of makes them wary about spending too much money. I can't really go to my boss and justify this big environment if actually it's going to get even bigger as well. You think about things such as the challenge of security and data. Actually, where is that data? Where's the data now? Where should it reside, etc. as well? Actually, have we got to get that data back? Maybe there's egress charges we've got to think about as well. Thinking of bringing it back to the cloud. Now, are there compliance elements? Is there sovereignty that we need to think about of that? So all of that is one of the challenges. On top of it, it's complicated as well. AI can make our lives so much easier in everyday life, but putting it together and actually being able to deliver that solution, that's a challenge. Now, if that's the challenge, there's the opportunity as well. We've got all these dollars on the table that we should be going after. And it's the opportunity for our partners is thinking about the customer and the journey. We've already sort of spoken about all the challenges that they face. Every single element of that is an opportunity for our partners. So if we think about the fact that customers need help with their AI journey, they need help in every step.
Yep.
Every step, Fred. Think about discovering where is the data like we spoke about, giving them advice. Actually, we need to sort of design and test the environment. We need to kind of look at building and adopting. Then, of course, there's that ongoing management, Fred, and maybe the growth element of it as well. Each of those steps, that's an opportunity for the partners. Think about what can they do today. So within their own portfolio, what can they actually deliver today? What do they want to be able to deliver in the future, Fred? And then where do they need help? Where do they want to collaborate as well?
Laying out those dots and in the journey and moving forward with each step and getting that help that they need. My next question is, how does HPE and Ingram Micro, simplify that journey, from pilot to production?
Yeah. And that is the thing, is that actually with AI, it is about a community and value that Ingram Micro can bring with this as well. So if I just kind of share one of these elements well, so when you start to think about that journey that I spoke about, this is the opportunity. So if we look at the kind of these steps, if we think of, okay, this is the kind of average journey, Fred, that customers need to go on, it's going to be different. It could be certain elements around the kind of models that they're looking at. It could be driven by industries. It could be driven by things like the geo that they reside in as well. But if we think about this journey, this is the opportunity. Now, partners should look at every step as what can we do today? What can we deliver? And actually, how can we collaborate with Ingram Micro? How can we collaborate with HPE? What is it they can do today? What is it they're looking to be able to do? Because if you're able to kind of take your customer on this journey, then that is transforming your business. It's opening up a completely new portfolio for the partners to be able to take on. And it may be that they've got kind of existing capabilities, Fred, within their own environment, but they just need to kind of look at, well, how do we adapt that for the use of AI as well? So now HPE and Ingram Micro, we're able to kind of help across this journey. So yes, we could kind of deliver all of this for the partner, but we're talking about collaboration. We're talking about partners being able to change their business with AI. So, although we can help with this, we've got lots of different services and solutions. We can do the discovery and advisory, etc. as well. The real conversation we want to have through Ingram Micro with the partners is, what is it you want to do today, and where do you want us to collaborate? What are the solutions that you want to bring to market as well?
Excellent. The business outcome and the business solution that they want to get to is with PCAI. What I like about this is that it comes in different sizes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you brought up HP Private Cloud AI as well, Fred, because actually, when you look at how HP can help, yes, we have all of these AI services, we have AI technology. I mean, we can do those discovery exercises right up to the supercomputers that we have within our portfolio. So absolutely, we can help our partners across the different areas of AI. But specifically, you mentioned kind of PCAI, private cloud AI, and that really is kind of looking at what are the challenges that we spoke about earlier. All that complexity and AI, it's just hard. Bringing everything together. How do I know what the right networking is, the right hardware, the right software? Actually, there's going to be multiple layers of the software. So, how do we integrate all that? How do we make sure it all fits together? Who's responsible for what? Now, if you're trying to do that as a customer, that could take months. That is a really complex journey to be able to go on. And in fact, when you look at some of the stats, Fred, out there, it's taking maybe up to 21 months, maybe even longer, just to really start building that environment for today that may have to change and will change in the future. So with PCAI, we've removed that complexity, about having to build your own AI environment. So we provide, as you can see here, the relevant hardware, software, both HPE, third-party elements in there, and of course it's been co-developed and designed with NVIDIA. So all of the relevant NVIDIA software, Fred, as you know, is in there as well. So it's a pre-integrated solution. So rather than taking 21 months and more to try and put this together and this together and this together, you actually have this solution ready to go. That can really, really accelerate both the customers and the partners' journey as well.
Turnkey. That's the thing, is that, there's a lot of customers and a lot of that have these use cases and they're ready to go and they just don't know what solution. So HPE PCAI is turnkey. Like I mentioned before, there's different, I guess we call them t-shirt sizes, small, medium, and large. And there's actually also a development kit to have it in your environment to kind of test it out and decide if you want to then go into a small, medium, or large. If this is working for your enterprise, you can then easily grow with PCEI and with GreenLake.
And it's a really good point. So I'm glad you sort of mentioned the different sizes. It could be driven by the actual size. It could be driven by the model, the vertical, etc. as well. We mentioned kind of removing that complexity, Fred, from building your own environment. But one of those other challenges that we spoke about at the beginning was that financial piece. If I don't know how big it's going to be, how am I going to justify spending all this money? And actually, how much is it going to end up costing as well? Because when you think about things like the first move to cloud, etc., or the first move of AI to cloud, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So how can I justify it? Well, with HP Private Cloud AI, you're absolutely right. Thinking of that HPE GreenLake kind of consumption type model, you can get that with PCAI as well. So customers can avoid that large spend up front. Partners can avoid that large spend up front. So actually you're going to be paying for what you use. And as your AI maturity grows, or as the AI model grows, your AI environment can grow as well. So absolutely, not just removing the complexity, but we're meeting that kind of financial challenge as well. And one other thing I should sort of mention, Fred, as well, that is getting a lot of interest from our partners is the fact that the HP Private Cloud AI, or PCAI, is actually operated and managed through the HP GreenLake Cloud platform. Now, why is that relevant, or why is that a specific benefit to both customers and partners? Well, not only are you able to kind of spin up these AI workloads like in a matter of clicks, Fred, but actually with the HP GreenLake Cloud platform, it enables the customer and the partners to have one platform, not just for their AI environment. So imagine being able to take advantage of a solution that gives you access to this platform that is where you're able to kind of manage your AI environment, but also you're able to manage your hardware estate within the same environment. So your storage, your compute, your networking, you can spin up virtual machines all through the same platform. And actually, not even just HPE technology, but actually now you can start to look at the multi-vendor, the multi-cloud piece as well. The reason I bring that up, Fred, is not only because of the ease of use of the HPE GreenLake Cloud, but for our partners, it means that actually within their own business, they can have one platform to deliver all of that. So if they're kind of looking at that service provider model, Fred, then actually, they can run it within their own environment. And again, that's the opportunity for our partners they need to think about is HP Private Cloud AI within their own environment, being able to shift that kind of maybe product-led type business to a solution-led type business, because that's where all the gross margin is, etc. as well. But if they're having this one platform, they can also manage their customers' environment as well. So now they've got one user experience that can really help them meet a whole range of their customers' needs.
Yep, you're right. We've seen different examples where sometimes it can be the customer themselves who manage it. They might have the IT teams there themselves. Sometimes it's the partner that manages it, and sometimes it's neither. Sometimes it's HPE. They say, no, we don't have the skills, the IT staff to run this. We want HPE to take care of it. So any way that they want it to be managed, it's really custom tailored to fit their needs, which is really amazing. I was on a call the other day with the partner and the customer, and they were really excited to use the GreenLake platform, and they were showing they had all their screens up in the background. I think 5 different screens with all their monitoring, but under one. It's all the same platform, right? But they have 5 different screens because they have one for storage, and they have one for the compute, and they have one for the virtualization. And they're just kind of showing me how they were just loving it, and it's one of the huge benefits of HPE GreenLake.
Yeah, exactly that. And you bring up a really good point, because when we talk to partners and the execs, and you start to explain the power of the platform and actually the impact it can have for them as well as a business, because often what we'll do is we'll sort of kind of talk to partners about the opportunity that this can bring, both in that service provider, but also in that sell-through channel model as well. And as soon as they start to think about that, they can have their same kind of IT team delivering both the services within their own environment and launching solutions off like a service provider would, but also then being able to kind of take it into their customer's own data center, or like you said, maybe co-location. We can provide that within the solution as well, with the fact that the partner is then able to wrap their own managed services around, so that they're kind of managing everything for the customer. Doesn't matter where that data sits, all delivered through the platform. In fact, one of those conversations that we often have through things like the workshops that we're able to deliver, etc., we kind of get into these examples, Fred, and one of them is kind of this piece around, well, actually, what can we do as an actual business? And we've kind of touched on this, that actually, if customers are hesitant, not really sure what I'm doing, only 1 in 10 projects are making it, it's because of like maybe the maturity. But you also said customers, some of them out there really mature in their AI models. But a lot of customers need the help. Well, it could be that actually partners look at kind of creating their own sandbox environment through using HP Private Cloud AI. So they maybe host it within their own environment, and they could kind of create a test environment for their customers. So, they come along, and as the maturity of that AI model of the customer's experience starts to grow, that's then where they're able to say, well, actually, that user experience you've been having on our platform, we can provide in your own data center. And you've got the same user experience. But what the partner's doing is PCAI within their own environment, and then providing PCAI within their customer's environment. But they wrap those services around, like I said, one user experience, and they're managing it all for the customer. That is a huge opportunity, especially as we sort of spoke about, when you start to think about all those different capabilities that are available on the same platform as well. That's where we want to kind of talk with Ingram Micro and your partners about collaborating. You're as a service. What is it you want to do? What is it that they want to help HPE with as well?
Which also kind of like makes me think of how a GreenLake, contract works as well. With this kind of service being offered, it's all about growing, right? And when you're in a GreenLake contract and you're in a GreenLake, environment, those change orders are quick. The technology growth is quick. A new technology change order is quick. And one of the big benefits when for any organization, the quicker you can get to, the next step of, installation, the more savings there is on their end, right? And I wanted to kind of mention that with Ingram Micro, with PCAI, we actually saw, a great example of this where we closed a significant PCAI deal. And the true value is in that short turnaround time. We're going from pilot to full deployment in just about 3 months. That's a success, is a direct testament to how fast PCAI is a turnkey solution. We've seen sometimes other partners coming to us and say, we've been working on this for years. And then, they see what HPE PCAI can do.
I really love that. And it shows the value of Ingram Micro and the experience that you guys have as well with not just PCAI, but the whole consumption portfolio. And you're right about that kind of growth piece. With that consumption type thing, it is about sizing it right, sizing it for today. What that does, Fred, is it means, one, it makes the solution more competitive, more relevant for the needs today. So, you're more likely to be able to kind of justify the cost, etc., as well, especially if you've got this kind of controlled growth where you're able to kind of grow into the model as well. And, again, I know Ingram Micro are able to kind of add that value of being able to size it right, etc., as well. And that's where we do start to see this growth, especially say with those consumption models, 25, 50% year on year growth. With the AI piece, could be even bigger. So again, one of these areas that we're kind of looking at and trying to help with the partners through Ingram Micros, we have like a series of workshops. So we have customer facing workshops, but we also have workshops that focus on the consumption model. So HPE GreenLake, where it can fit within a partner's business, and actually not thinking of GreenLake as the first three letters of being HPE, but actually where could this kind of platform fit within the partner's business? Because it could meet their AI needs. It could meet their VM needs, for example, with some of the challenges that we're seeing within the market at the moment. We're able to offer, alternatives there. They can manage their estate as well in this kind of this growth model. So we have these kind of series of workshops that can arrange through Ingram Micro, focusing on both AI. So we do like these AI acceleration workshops. We do sales enablement as well, focusing on PCAI. But we also have this kind of transformation journey where we're able to help partners go on this HPE GreenLake transformation journey, which is made up of like a series of workshops where we're kind of looking at how GreenLake is relevant for the business. And that really links nicely, Fred, into the AI conversation as well.
Yeah, I'm happy you mentioned that. But that workshop there is one for GreenLake and there's one specific to AI, and it's a 1.5 day workshop between the partner HPE workshop team, and I've worked with that team, and it's a great workshop. So please do reach out to us, for more information on that.
Yeah, and actually, Fred, it's a really good point because actually what we've done on that GreenLake kind of consumption side, we've actually extended the engagement as well, Fred. So not only do we have that kind of 1.5 day, but we do things now like mapping sessions where actually we get the partner in the room and we've got these posters up and we're sort of saying, right, what are the services that you want to add into the solution? Where is it Ingram Micro can help? And where does HPE kind of play? And you literally walk them round the room with these different posters, and by the end of it, we'll be able to identify what are the services that are going to be within the solution. What is the solution? Where is it going to focus on? Is it going to focus on a certain vertical? What are the challenges and opportunities in there as well? So again, that is part of the journey that we can offer the partners all through working with Ingram Micro as well.
Amazing. And just to quickly highlight on our team here at Ingram Micro, we have a fully stacked team, specialists like you, Ruben, and every other specialist that comes in and helps us. At Ingram Micro, we have solution architects to help with technical configurations. We have a vendor and business management specialists to help with things like the business and the marketing side of things. We have a full solution desk that helps with like pricing and quotes. It's wonderful working with you, and I hope our partners can get out of this is to engage with us, engage with HPE. You have those use cases and you want to move forward with AI offerings, please do reach out to us. I want to thank you very much, Ruben, for being our guest today and answering all these questions on AI and PCAI, and thank our guests for viewing today.
Thanks, Fred.
Thank you. Have a good one.